Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero, Chapter 151. When we last left our heroes, Rebecca had woken up in a terrible future, where she just learned that she has been in a coma for several years after an incident led to her losing her legs, and the rest of the crew, except for Shiki, all dying. And before she can find out any more information, she returns to the present, wakes up in like a bunny girl outfit, and begins her fight against Lara in like a crowded coliseum. Some kind of card game is afoot. We don't get a lot of details though, because we swap to Wise versus Nase. As Wise tries to shoot at Nase, largely fails. Wise and Nase have a debate about what exactly a shooting game is, which culminates in Wise just saying "fuck it," using Machina Maker to destroy Nase's Sea Devil, but also Arsenal Mark II's helmet is destroyed in the process, so Nase tries to go for the hypnosis, but we learn that Wise has been spreading signal jammers across town in their fight, blocking Nase's hypnosis and also spreading a shit ton of turrets, which blows Nase to Kingdom Come, and we learn that Wise was in his overdrive for the entire fight. And yeah, that's last week. So let's jump right on into chapter 151, Handprints. And our picture here is of Wise holding like a pistol in a sort of Old West, saloon setting, or the porch of a saloon, more like. Yeah, it's nice, it's just kind of there. Anyway, we open where we left off with Wise still in his overdrive form, Nase kind of, lying on the ground. Getting a better look at Wise's overdrive, though, I do like he has these kinds of, tubes sticking out of his back. It's a really, cool thing. And Wise just sort of smirks at Nase as Nase rages. "You can overdrive? Gah! I didn't sign up for this! Time for a tactical retreat!" And Nase just runs away as Wise yells at him, "Oh, no you don't!" And he notices something, it looks like. He notices that he's out of ether. And he goes back to normal. Ugh, this power uses up even more ether than Arsenal. Fine. Chasing him's not my priority right now. I need to meet up with the others and find Rebecca. Okay, so maybe this is not the last we've seen of Nase. Because so far, for all my talk about how the Empire kind of works as a government more than another Mashima villain group, the Oceans kind of have, for the most part, been a pretty, I don't want to say standard villain group. There's a lot of differences between them and, Fairy Tales, Spriggan 12, or 9 Demon Gates, or 7 Kin of Purgatory, and all those guys. But, it's been the same kind of basic setup. The heroes fight a member, they have a one-on-one fight, the hero wins, and then the villain is down for the count, either redeemed, as we kind of saw with Milani, or defeated, as I sort of assumed with Nase. But now, Nase might become a bit of a recurring antagonist through the rest of the saga, perhaps. Either way, he runs away. We cut to Nase, he's staggering away, and he opens the Oceans group chat, which is apparently a thing, and he texts, "Guys, this is bad!" And Lyra texts back, "Sorry," with 3 hearts. "My show's starting. Talk to you later." And then Nase texts back, "No, you have to listen. These guys can OD." And Milani, who's on the group chat despite her kind of not quite defection at the end of her fight. I know. I mean, that's how they got me. And Callum sends her a nice sticker. It's just a really funny exchange there. And Nase snaps, "What does that stupid adorable sticker even mean? When is Callum gonna learn how to use this chat? Gah!" So as someone who is horribly bad at group chats, I appreciate Callum there. This whole concept of, the evil empire's, top warriors have their own private group chat is just a really, really funny concept to me. Yeah, it's just a nice thing. It's just nice. Anyway, we come back to the arena, though. where Rebecca versus Lyra is kind of beginning. We see Rebecca's in this very, like, defensive pose. I almost kind of assumed that she was kind of embarrassed to be in that outfit and being seen, because I thought her arms were kind of over her breasts, but they're under them, which just sort of seems not terribly, like, defensive in a sort of embarrassed kind of way. So maybe it's, like, cold or something. I don't know. A card game with all these people watching? Right, so last time Lyra challenged her to some kind of card game. And that, with all these people watching, does seem to be back in that sort of embarrassed, my initial assumption. But still, anyway, Lyra looks at her. But it's not just a card game. In Lost Card, every time you lose, a piece of your clothing gets lost. Okay, I expressed my concerns about this fight last week, when Lyra had that sort of throwaway line about it being unedited on the Aoi net. And yeah, I see what's going on here. That's where Mashima is going with this. And I kind of expressed my frustrations with how Rebecca was treated, back in 149 in particular. And I hope we don't see more of that here. But we'll see. And Rebecca, who also might only be wearing, like, 1 or 2 pieces of clothing. I'm not quite sure, how much of her bunny girl outfit is 1 article of clothing? So she's a little bit nervous there. What? And all the men in the crowd cheer, yeah, take it off, show us the birthday suit. And Rebecca snaps, what kind of a game? This isn't funny. And you put me in this skimpy outfit. There's no way I'd agree to this. And Lyra points out, oh, but you don't have a choice. See that thing on your neck? That's a bomb. Okay, but that could just be the first thing she takes off, right? Like, are there rules as to how this thing works? And Lyra just sort of continues, if you don't want to play, then it'll be your fault when the show ends with a bang. And Rebecca sort of panics. This is so messed up. But maybe it's not so bad. And she starts to strategize. I have the power to rewind time 90 seconds. And sorry, but that makes me basically invincible when it comes to card games. I can only use it 2 more times before I'm out of ether. But if I use it at just the right times, there's no way she'll beat me. Okay. I see your strategy here. I'm familiar enough with the genre to assume that in some way, Lyra's gonna have a workaround there. Maybe she'll need it more than twice. Cause she doesn't, maybe Lyra won't tell her the rules of the game. Like it's Mao or something. Except with a lot higher stakes. But yeah, let's just carry on. Rebecca, now confident with her ability, shouts, all right then, I accept your challenge. And the crowd goes wild. And Lyra kind of smirks, I didn't think you were that gutsy. And Rebecca continues, but I have one question first. If you lose, your clothes get lost too, right? Of course, the rules have to be fair for both of us. And the crowd kind of goes wild. There are like all men in the crowd. You can like look at the audience. There are no women here. Except maybe no. There's a guy in the bottom right corner of the panel. I thought his arms were like longer hair, and like maybe that was a woman, but it's just arms. No, that's a guy. Whether our Lyra wins or loses, we're happy. It's the best show ever. And Rebecca just snaps. I think you mean worst ever. But Lyra sort of has a little bit of a creepy line here. Oh, right. There's one more thing I forgot to tell you. After the loser's been stripped totally naked in front of everybody, a part of their body will be lost too. Oh, I know where this is going. It's the legs. It's the legs. And Rebecca freaks out. What? And she flashes back to the future she saw, or flashes forward, I guess, and the robot legs. A part of my body? And we see that gets to her. My legs. And then we see a crack in the ceiling, and the ceiling breaks open, and someone, we all know who, is arriving into the Coliseum. It's Shiki. Rebecca! And Rebecca looks up. Shiki! Alright. A part of me wants to let this play out before I give my thoughts. But I'm a little bit of two minds of this. On the one hand, anything that stops the nudity game, I'm not super opposed to. But also, Rebecca should have a fight. Like, I mean, Rebecca. It's not one of those things where Rebecca doesn't really get fights. Like Robin in One Piece doesn't really have a fight in several years. Depending on if we ever actually see her fight with Black Maria. But I do wish, if Wise and Homura and I guess the ex-Drakens haven't really had a fight yet, but if them and Shiki are all getting fights, Rebecca deserves a good fight too. But also, I don't really want to see this fucking lost clothing game. Anyway, Rebecca calls Shiki. Lyra looks up in shock at the sudden arrival. The crowd all murmurs, and Shiki lands, "What are you doing here? Where are the others? And why are you dressed like that?" It's a long story. "What are you doing here?" And Shiki tells her, "I got out of the underground tunnel and saw you on a TV screen." "Oh, yeah." She said this is a broadcast. And Lyra's just sort of sitting there. There's this ... around her, like arms crossed, kind of impatient. And Shiki tells Rebecca, "They kidnapped Witch. I think she's where the All Link is." And Rebecca asks, "What?" And Lyra sort of with a, "Excuse me, would you not interrupt my show?" And the crowd all boos Shiki. And Shiki grabs Rebecca and starts to run. "Shut up. Let's go, Rebecca." And Lyra just says, "Bomb." And the bomb around Rebecca's neck starts to beep. Rebecca shoves him away. "Shiki, get back!" "Whoa. As long as you have that bomb around your neck, your only choice is to obey me." And Rebecca sort of crawls into a ball at this point. Which is kind of, I don't know, like, this isn't new information. Maybe it's just the thing about the legs. Because she hasn't really had a chance to react to the "you could lose your legs here" bit. Because she's told that back on page 10, and then Shiki immediately shows up. So maybe this is kind of a delayed reaction there, maybe? I don't know. Either way, your only choice is to obey me. And Shiki snaps at Lyra, "That's low." And then a handprint kind of just appears on Shiki's face. Much like our title of the chapter. What the? A handprint? And then Callum arrives and slams Shiki down. So I'm guessing that's definitely related to to Callum's ether gear. Because he's hitting the exact same spot where the handprint was, it looks like. Though the handprint is kind of like this, right? Sorry if you can hear my dog barking, she's just going ballistic right now. But Shiki seems to get hit like this. So I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, Lyra exclaims, "Callum, you made it." And Callum tells her, "I'll take care of him." And Shiki looks up at him, "What? Where did you come from?" And we see he's got another handprint on his side. And he gets slammed down again. Gwah! And he falls down into a hole. Rebecca calls after him, "Shiki!" And Shiki gets up and back in another underground tunnel. The little. And we see Callum sort of materializing out of vapor. He turned into fog. And Callum looks down at him. "So you're the one who has gravity powers like Shora's. Imperial Special Forces Ocean 6, Callum." And Shiki kind of glares at Callum. And we come back up to the stadium, where Lyra, kind of with that distraction out of the way, continues. "All right, then. Let's get our game started too, kidden." And Rebecca kind of questions, "But I'm a bunny girl." Though, admittedly, the cat thing there is sort of Rebecca's aesthetic. I'm curious if that's just a sort of teasing remark, or if Lyra has done, like, the bare minimum of research into her opponent. I'm leaning towards the former, but, like, it's a question, I guess. Anyway, with that, we cut to Nero 66 airspace. As the battle is just kind of continuing, we have another huge ship appearing from the Empire, the Imperial Megalodon-class Mammoth battleship. And this is one of the GUA ships, like bridge commander. That white ship. How can one starfighter take? Oh no, this is the inside of the battleship. How can one starfighter take out so many of ours? Because the starfighter doing that is Justice's. He's one of the Erasion 6 Interstellar, the celestial judge, Justice. Don't let him scare you. You have him vastly outnumbered. Attack him in waves. And we see Justice is just leaving a trail of destruction everywhere he goes. And Justice tells Eraser, I'm noticing unidentified signatures in our friendly signals. And Eraser sort of casually remarks, they're the rebel army. You've heard of them, right? And Justice, kind of mad. I can't believe we're working with a civilian organization. For a second there, I was like, maybe a part of Justice does not... You know, given what little we know of Justice's backstory, maybe the idea of someone opposing an empire without being a government of their own sort of strikes him the wrong way. But no, it's just more of a, you have civilians in the line of fire. Though admittedly, Oasis came themselves. Anyway, we look at the battle readout. There's like the 5 or 6 ships on our side and the full battalion on the Imperial side. And Eraser looks at it. Never mind. Look at all those enemy ships. When is Jaguar getting here? And Justice tells him the captain had another matter to attend to. What? You're kidding. Is it really more important than the fate of the Yaoi Cosmos? But Justice tells him what he's doing is to help the Yaoi Cosmos. So that's interesting. I don't know when we're going to see more of that. But anyway, Justice sort of blows up a bunch more Imperial ships as he continues. We're going to put a stop to Nero's ambition. And then we cut down to the bottom, to the tunnels and all the shattered mirrors. And Homura, who's sort of, cut and beaten, but lying victorious in the real world. And she tries to sit up. I appear to have escaped the mirror. I must find the others. And she notices someone and thinks, someone's there. And someone points a gun at her. Freeze! Wait, you're... Oh, and it's Creed, or Victory. Yeah, Creed. I forget which one is Creed and which one is Victory. And Homura looks at him. It is you, from the Interstellar Union Army. The forgettable man in glasses. Oops, I spoke that aloud. We see Creed just is crestfallen. The name's Creed. And that's where the chapter ends. Okay, so let's kind of break this chapter down. First off, the question is, will Nase return in some way? I think there are really 2 routes Nase could go from here. I think, depending on how this arc shakes up, right? I'm assuming the Empire will not go down in this arc. That'll be, a couple of arcs after this. We'll still kind of continue to see, even if Shora goes down here, Nero's side of the Empire will still be standing if Shora died, even if he dies. And so one option is that Nase kind of goes back to Nero, and he sort of, gets stronger and has a rematch with Wise, or another member of the crew, in another arc. Another option is he comes back to Shora and Shora just kills him. Knowing Shora, that option is absolutely a possibility. But either way, Nase is not quite down for the count from a full-on, story standpoint yet. Also, again, I just love the group chat. The idea that the oceans all have a group chat is so funny. Anyway, then we cut to Rebecca. And I think I made my thoughts on Rebecca's content clear throughout the chapter. But Rebecca gets into a strip card game is not my favorite plotline this series could possibly do. I'm just really not a fan. And it almost looks like we're going to get saved from that. With kind of the compromise being that Rebecca loses the compromise being that Rebecca loses a fight. But no, thanks to the bomb threat and the arrival of Callum, Rebecca is still going to have her card game of death. So we'll see how that goes. As a lifelong Yu-Gi-Oh fan, I would be excited for Rebecca gets stuck in a really weird episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! If it was not also like strip Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, that's not really my scene here. But Mashima, I guess, could surprise me. I hope. Though I really am expecting Lara to have some kind of workaround for Cat Leaper. But that's one of those remains to be seen kind of things. Anyway, we then have Callum, who's starting this fight with Shiki, as the last member of Oceans on the planet. It would make sense that... I mean, a part of me was like, Shiki's going to be saved for Shora, and so maybe, Clean and Laguna could come down and tag team Callum or something. Maybe also with Jean, but also maybe not. But it does look like Shiki's going to fight Callum, so maybe we'll have the whole crew fight Shora, given that Shiki did not really succeed that well against Shora the first time. Having everyone, especially with Homura and Wise having activated Overdrive, could definitely help. Again, sorry about the dog. She's just going ballistic right now. Anyway, we then also learn that Jaguar is not coming for reinforcements, and he's doing something that's going to stop Nero's ambition. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if the Interstellar are quite aware that Nero himself doesn't really have much interest in the All Link. It's really just a Shora thing. Nero is perfectly fine sort of sitting there. So maybe Jaguar is doing some kind of espionage work to take down the All Link, or maybe he's focused on Nero himself. Who knows? That's a really big question we're going to have to get into sooner rather than later. And then the chapter ends with Homura kind of running into Creed, reawakening Creed's kind of crush on Homura. And we'll see what comes of that next time. I do imagine, given that is this chapter's cliffhanger, that's going to really be the initial focus of next week. So I imagine something will happen there. Not quite sure what, especially given Justice's sort of antagonistic view on the Eden's gang, and how that will kind of affect, Creed's sort of professional opposition to Homura and his sort of personal crush on her, how that's going to affect him going forward. But yeah, there's a lot in this chapter, and I'm cautious to see where we're going next, but I'm also a little excited to see where we're going next. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for this week's chapter. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!